Entering the Mayo Experience.
That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. That Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2022 FedEx St. Jude Championship. First leg, the FedEx Cup playoffs, picks, preview, bets, one and done. We're nearing the end of the season. This is the last full field cut event of the year. It's exciting times, Geoff Fienberg. We made it throughout the entire year, and here we are. Now football starts very soon.
Yeah, and it's been a kind of a slog. It kind of feels like the Open Championship was a season finale. That being said, I love these final two events. We talk about these events as arguably as good as any events we get on the calendar each year. So I'm pretty fired up. They'll lead us right to football. I mean, East Lake is, but these next two, I got opinions, which is almost bad because the weeks that I was just kind of like laying light and hoping to get lucky, I almost did and got real close. Last week I had opinions and Tom Kim wins, Pat, but it takes me 2 years to bet on the guys who are young and good. 2 years of wasted bets before they win, if they win. Although I had a full betting card of guys who hit the ball better tee to green than Tom Kim.
Well, maybe you have to take the guy who gains 12 strokes putting. That's the guy you want.
Oh, what marvelous. It was magical. It was enthralling. Like, I didn't have money on Sung J M either. And Russell Wilson. Henley shows you where my head is at. Henley comes out, like a dead fish, and my day's over. So I was just enjoying the magic, the magic man.
That's exactly where I was too, because I had Henley as well, and he tanked it on the restart in the morning. Him and Alex Smalley, my two guys, Henley started riding a bogey train early on Sunday morning to finish his third round. I think Smalley came back on the course and made triple. He was at 10 under at one point on Saturday. I was like, all right, he's in the mix. Get me a top five. Let's get a Dodge. It'll all be fine. And they ended up shooting like 6 under on like the final portion of the round, but he was well out of it by that point. But if Henley doesn't gag it early, and like even coming down the stretch and be like, hey, let's click to Russell Henley. It's like, oh, he has 3 feet for birdie. Miss. Just so many of those all week. But this is what you get when you end up betting on Russell Henley. You should almost expect it at this point. But I saw your tweet. It was the first thing that went through my mind as well, is that this is the difference when you really boil it down of why the PGA is always going to have the edge. Live right now is just ridiculous, and like it's not like a non-factor. But let's say like Live establishes itself 2 years from now, 3 years from now. It's like competitive. People don't see it as an exhibition; they see it as a real tour. This is the difference between PGA and Live now, and presumably in the future as well. That here's this 20-year-old who was grinding on the Asian tour, gets himself in based on world rankings, plays well in the majors, gets these sponsors exemptions, and he's able to break through, win on the PGA Tour, get into the playoffs, unlike Zalatoris was able to do, because he didn't end up with the win. So now all of a sudden he qualifies, he's in the FedEx Cup playoffs, he's probably going to end up playing like 8 weeks in a row. He's 33rd in the FedEx Cup standings. Like it's impossible to have that story on the Live Tour. And this is really why people love the PGA. Stories like this. Out of nowhere, new young player who could be awesome. I mean, who knows 2 years from now if Tom Kim is still good or not. I'm guessing he's going to be. But this is like a real arrival. And what does the Live have? Stenson won. Great.
You can't buy the magic. You simply can't buy it. And I don't know, if the Oklahoma State kid, Chip Cesaria, I totally botched his name, but Chihuahua, the Spanish kid. I didn't mean to disrespect his name that bad, but if he won, would we have cared? I don't know. Probably not. Stenson winning. Stenson telling the Ryder Cup, the European Tour, his lifeblood, flipping 2 double birds, calling out his dream and saying, I'm cashing in on what I called my dream, and then going out and winning the first event in and of itself, like I tweeted, a really cool story, an incredible side plot. But in the end, no one gives a flying fuck other than the people who are going to inherit Henrik Stenson's money that he got richer. It's not. No one gives a shit. And there's an amazing side twist to it. You know, the week he tells the Ryder Cup, go fuck yourself. Doesn't matter. Doesn't resonate. And, you know, people who ever talk about the demise of the PGA is one of the most grossly over-exaggerated things ever. Because in the end, you'll care about the events you'll care about. You won't care about the events you won't care about. And you'll make fun of those fields. But the PGA will never have an issue making stars. And as of now, LIV is 48 guys. And everything can change there. And I'm not doubting, you know, things can change on the fly. Next year, they could say we're 100 guys. Maybe they will. But it's 48 guys. 88% of them are washed or nothing. And there's a handful of nice players. And they're going to get better players. Like, clearly, based on the rumor mill and their cash, you know, the cash, they're going to get better players. But in the end, you can't buy the magic, and the PGA will always just make new stars. They'll always make the stars. And if in the end, getting made a star on the PGA is just the stepping stone to getting the LIV offer, I don't know. Maybe that's where golf comes to. But for now, the PGA is just going to make the stars. It ain't soccer, but this is a worldwide game. And the kids are playing it everywhere. And there is so much money to be made still on the PGA. It's still life-changing, world-changing opportunity and money that will always make stars. And this was almost a perfect. It's crazy, like the people who have won almost since LIV started. I guess the good players, but I don't know. From Finau to this to Fitz and Xander, it's just been this whole weird fun time. The PGA couldn't have written it up any better. And Ricky Fowler backdoors into 125. It almost feels like a fake weekend.
Kim eliminates Matt Wallace by taking his spot in the FedEx Cup after he was deemed eligible after getting full status after his win. So a bummer for Matt Wallace in that sense, but I am honestly just much happier to see Tom Kim in the playoffs, to see what he can do. And it feels like he might be running on fumes at this point. I think this will be 6, 7, and 8 weeks in a row for him playing. I mean, the dude's 20. We saw Sungjae do this. We've seen Reed do this in the past, like years ago, that some guys are just built to do this. This is how they like to play. And other guys are like 3 weeks in a row. Oh, give me my fainting couch. I got nothing left in the tank here. Need some time off. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it.
Did Siwoo withdraw so we could watch Tom Kim?
I think Siwoo was like, he saw where he was on the leaderboard coming back out, and it was like, well, I'm going to make a run on this on Saturday night. If I can't get there, like, fuck it. I don't want to wait around and play like 27 holes on Sunday when I have no chance of winning. So classic Siwoo. I mean, he's there to win. And if he's not going to win, he's like, see you later.
Hey, the South Korean Sedgefield narrative still lives stronger, lives super strong. It's got mighty powers. If only Sedgefield got you out of military service.
It's funny because on the Wednesday show, Tambo and I were joking around like with the all Asian lineup. You could go, I think we had it that it was like Kim, Brandon Wu, and Appy Burnrat, and none of us played it.
Yeah. And you can make jokes. Like, there's an easy joke to make as Patrick Reed's posting a video of him getting on his private plane to fly to Singapore to play in an Asian tour event. And then on Saturday afternoon, the entire leaderboard is Kim, Barnrat, Lahiri. It's like the whole Asian tour is like, we're here, pal. Not to say those guys would be playing there anyway. They're more established than that. But the irony of like, no, it's still about getting here. Like, this is where you need to be.
Well, I'll tell you where people need to be in the comment section and description. Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League, final one for the golf season, 2,500 spots. So let's fill it up. Go out with a bang. We'll be focusing on the Week 1 Listeners League moving forward because, frankly, BMW DraftKings, I mean, Eastlake DraftKings is just horrible. So next week, we'll be talking about the DraftKings show and things like that. Jeff and I aren't going anywhere for the rest of the golf season. However, the research show, this was the last week for it. So this coming Sunday. So just a schedule note here, Jeff. Here's what we got going on this week. We got me and you today, obviously. Tomorrow, me and Levitan talking about Week 1. Wednesday, Tambo is out of town. He didn't qualify for the Fantasy Golf World Championships, but he's going anyway. So he's going to be down in Memphis at the St. Jude. So Raza, it would be Raza and I at 9:15 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And then Thursday, me, you, and Cust, part 2 of the running back rankings. If you want to get early access to that show. Quarterback rankings are 1 to 10. So it's part 2 of that show. If you hit last week's newsletter, this week's newsletter, sub down in the description, you can go find the secret link to that show right now. If you really need to go get it, it has no time codes or anything. It's just stock footage. It's up there. You can go click on the show and watch it. And then me and Meanie next Sunday with Cust, top 150 fantasy football rankings. It's 6 weeks later than I normally do it. I want to be more accurate this year, so I decided to wait.
I have no issues with that. I'm not one of these people that likes to early draft at all. I get annoyed even when my buddies want to do my home league wants to do our draft lottery so early. It's like I don't even want to think about my pick until the middle of August, early August. But yeah, we're here. It's time, full swing. And I'll only tease the QB show by saying I kind of got triggered by where Tim ranked Justin Herbert because I personally felt that's his absolute floor for the project we did. But that didn't last long because then I heard where he ranked Josh Allen.
So you felt like it was massive.
Just my teeth.
It was massive disrespect to Justin Herbert until you heard about Josh Allen's ranking.
Yeah, I could no longer have any gripe with Herbert. I just had to get on the hill of Allen and I couldn't be insulted about Herbert anymore when I heard what he did to Josh Allen, which I guess Josh Allen fans and Justin Herbert fans would consider that a positive when Tim, talks you down. But that's where we are, and look forward to that and find it if you need it because it's out there.
In the real life golf world, you're back on the links now, right? Have you been able to play 18 yet?
Yeah, I played 18 even last week for the first time. I did the half and half, which was the front 9 walk with the back 9 cart. My wife wasn't really pleased about that. It's like, just walk around the neighborhood. I'm like, no, the point is I don't want to walk around the neighborhood. This is the opportunity to walk, and I'm going to walk. So walk, and maybe soon I'll do the whole 18 walking when it's not too hot. It's got to be a nice little, because I'm a polar bear. But yeah, I'm getting out there, getting back. Things. I play well when I putt. I guess it's how that works. I score well when I putt. I'm playing well. Happy with how I'm playing, not how I'm scoring. If that makes any sense.
So I had the culmination. I started going to see an instructor June of last year. I want to say I lived with a massive slice my entire life and just did nothing about it. I started being I was the guy who was playing it massively over the trees to the left and being all right,
I watched it, yep.
Here she comes. And my ball would end up my driving distance was 180 yards. I'd hit it 260 and it would go 180 on just a big curve. And it's not great for trying to hold. If anything is sloping off to the right, I'm in the woods to the right because I can't stop the ball. So I decided to go get a new swing. I went to an instructor, worked on all this stuff to get it all figured out, and it was a struggle once it was implemented midway through last year. Got a bit of better results towards the end once it started to click a little bit, took some more lessons, and this weekend, Jeff, finally, for the first time in my life, I've been golfing since I was 8 years old, I broke 80. So I'm very happy with myself. And then I went and played yesterday, and front 9 went well. I was playing the same way, and then just disaster. Got a bit too high on my britches on the back 9, and it was bad news.
That's congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I'm nowhere near that at the moment. I plan on golfing a lot in August, though. Although through the first 8 days of August, I've golfed very little. But my plan is to over golf in August as much as I possibly can, which should be a lot.
Now's the time to do it. I mean, I need to get in all my rounds right now. I got a thing at the end of the month where we have our 16-person Ryder Cup, and I want to go out and just annihilate everyone with that. And poor Cust. Cust was doing the same thing. We had to get him a cart on the back 9 the other day. He hurt his calf walking around, but he was too much of a man. He was limping around the course. I was like, man, get a cart for the back 9. He's like, no. I can walk. And visibly could not walk. So I had to go get the cart for him, bring it to him, and like force him into it. Then after he's like, "Oh, it was a really good idea getting the cart." It's like, "Yeah, no fucking shit, man. You're limping around the course because you're not hydrating yourself and your muscles cramped up." God.
And then what does he do? He goes into the car after the round, turns on the air conditioning, and considers that a reward.
I don't know. I mean, if people didn't check out Cuss going around, is that from the first part of the quarterback show, or is that from the second part? I can't remember now. No, second.
It's from the first.
Yeah,
unless you cut it differently. It was from the first.
No, the second one is Cuss saying he can bull ride.
Yeah.
Which he said he's going to do on a mechanical bull. We'll see about that, and we'll most definitely have videos there if he ever agrees to do it.
Do you have any other thoughts about
Sedgefield?
About Sedgefield, or the guy that just put the lights out, was rarely in trouble, just won, like regardless of all the crazy, the number on the first, or his age, or all the other things, like anything else?
No, I mean, when we did out the model last week, like he rated out really highly. He's someone who he hits the ball dead straight. It's a huge advantage at a course where the rough can eat you up a little bit. And it's funny because on one he missed the fairway, but it wasn't really like even his second shot when he made the quad, like it wasn't all that bad. He got himself like chipping trouble. Like he pulled a scuffed one right in front of him. And, like he hit it to the top of the hill, it rolled back down the hill. Like it sucks. Like he got hoselled in the rough, could barely get it out. He was on like the shaved surface, got it up, and it rolled back to his feet. I can see how you can make an 8. You don't expect a pro to make an 8, but it was pretty impressive how he was just able to shake it off. He wasn't going into full melt. Imagine if that happened to Hatton. Just broken clubs everywhere.
I don't want to throw stones there because I'm going to say throw some roses his direction as we get into that show. There's no pun connected there to Justin. But yeah, I remember, think about how much we glad-handed and loved when Hovland at the Masters did it, like on the first hole, and he just came back to have a competitive week. We were like, just showered him with praise, and just smiles and goes through everything. And while I literally pretty much 80% of my betting card was surrounding Tom Kim, and I was never really thinking of betting him, but I bet a lot of identical numbers. When asked about him, I was like, "Do you think he's fatigued?" And my only response to that is, "This guy's like a kid in a candy store. Like he's a baby, and every week he's walking into a PGA locker room with like PGA services. Like there's no at that age, like there's no fatigue, there's no jadedness. It's all just brand new and amazing." So, yeah, but I didn't really think to bet him. Didn't think he was bringing the ceiling.
Sky ended up betting him. He bet him at 35 to 1 or 40 to 1.
Few people bear off.
They were sharper than us. When I was betting Siwoo, they were betting Tom, and that turned out to be the move. Good drafting.
And it still counts as chalk, right? Like it's another chalk win as we scale out the years, like 35, 40 to 1. Like
yeah, but that's in the range that we want. Like it wasn't a 13. Like Sungjae didn't win. Put it that way.
Well, it's the range I bet, but I just mean like it still holds up the thread that like nothing is only good players, even if a month ago you never heard of them. And if you went on like one of Paul's buddies who love golf, like went to Algonquin Park for a few weeks, missed the Scottish and had no idea who this guy was. And he's like, "Wow, you bet on him? You won? What was he, like 300 to 1? Be like, "No, 35. Be like, "I don't get it."
Someone did point out that maybe the biggest thing that helped propel Tom Kim this week is Cuss doesn't know who he is. Like that's a huge factor for him.
I almost I could have lost my water there. Wow.
Here's where I think that he presents, and we're talking about like PGA versus Live, star making opportunities. He has a real opportunity. Like if he's good, obviously if he's not good, it's not going to matter. But versus like Hideki, versus Siwoo, versus Sungjae, like his English is impeccable. Like he can give real interviews without a translator. Like that's been for the longest time. Like it's funny, like when we were thinking about like 2016, 2017, like what is the difference between Ricky and Hideki? Well, Hideki was better then, but Ricky was just perceived as the better player because to American audiences in the betting market and sponsorships, yeah, you like get behind the American guy, but it hurts when the Japanese guy really can't speak. I mean, he can speak English, but it's not like you can get Amanda Balionis or Renner now, whatever her last name is now, doing an interview after the round, and like Hideki can only articulate it through his interpreter of what he's really trying to say. Not Tom Kim. He's just out there. I think he was in Australia. I think like he moved to Australia when he was like 6 or 10 or something like that. Like that's going to be a huge advantage for him in bridging the gap and being like a true Asian star potentially in the U.S. market, because that's always the hardest thing.
100%. And not only does he speak fluid English, he is a personality. I don't know whether that's, a kid that grows up on the internet or in this, the social media age. Maybe they're, just more comfortable. I don't know. Maybe the next slew of them will be more engaging personalities, as we've kind of seen with all these younger kids. They're far more engaging than even the generation before him. A guy like Patrick Cantley's a straight freaking bore. Like, you don't even want him to open his mouth. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The opportunities that could be there for a personality, Asian descent, that's all there. That is all there. No doubt about it, Pat. It's the world's his oyster. He's gonna be put on a pedestal at the President's Cup. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch, even if he gets waxed. It's absolutely who should be getting a spot. Even if he came like third place, to me, should be taking like a Leishman spot.
I'm looking at the standings right now. I wonder if they're updated or not. Where is Tom Kim? Now, they can't be updated unless he only moved up. According to this, he only moved up 4 spots in the standings. That doesn't.
But it's a 2-year period.
But he has a bunch of wins. Like he was winning on the Asian tour. Like I don't think this is updated for today. This is through August 2nd. So yeah, no, it's not updated for his win. So he'll probably be right ahead round Munoz or EVR, like 9th or 10th in this day. Like who would you take as like here if we do the top 8 plus the 4 captains pick? So Cam Smith, Hideki, Sungjae, Neiman, Connors, Scott, Mito, and KH Lee are all on the team. Let's say they're the 8 automatic spots, because that's who are the 8 automatic spots right now. Who are your 4 captains picks? Because I have thoughts about this, especially about playing Quail Hollow at the same time of what you might want to go with. Because I like the international team more than anything else. I know that we talked about when the Ryder Cup was at L'Open or National de France that you might want to take some more accurate players. Maybe Bryson's not the best suit for this course. Maybe Kevin Kisner would be a guy that you might want to look at for this particular course. We know Quail Hollow is like a bomber's track, but the Americans are so talented regardless of who they pick that they're going to be fine and competitive anyway. The international team at the President's Cup isn't. Like, they need real guys to go, and they need to kind of use, I want to say, like, they should use analytics, but, like, really think about the concept. Like, is Pendrith someone, like Hadwin and Hughes, Canadian-wise, let's say, like, Ryan Fox should be on this team. He's 13th in the standings. He should most definitely be on this team at Quail Hollow. Dude fucking bombs it. We know he can make like 50-foot putts from time to time. And usually when he blows up, like, it's a big blow up, not the worst thing in the world in a match play situation. But I worry that they're going to be like, oh, we need to take Munoz because he's 9th. It's like, well, he's playing like shit. Cost me a lot of money on DraftKings this week. I had 2 lineups that had Kim, and Im in them. And they both had fucking Munoz, who finished a shot behind the cut line. I was like, fuck you, Munoz. You are absolutely destroying me. I had the nuts and Munoz. And that means not a ton of money coming back my way. But either way, like, I would just be loading up on bombers here. Like Pendrith, Ryan Fox. Like, I like Hadwin. I like Hughes. I'd rather have Pendrith if I was taking another Canadian here.
Yeah, I mean, Fox feels like the obvious choice based on course feel and even current form. Pendrith, I would root for it. I don't know if they'd have the stones. Like, I don't know if that's even on something they're considering, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know either. Like,
Herbert's also a pretty big bomber, unless I'm totally making that up.
Herbert's like shit off the tee though. Like Cam Davis and Herbert are separated by 2 spots. Like you have New Zealand, Ryan Fox. Australia, Leishman. Herbert's Australian. Cam Davis is Australian. I'd rather have Cam Davis of those three.
Yeah, I would rather Cam Davis also, and Pendrith being ahead of Cam Davis
It's
on
crazy.
the thing I'm looking.
It's insane. You know who else I would think about? Just to try to feel like they need to go off the board here. If they get absolutely waxed in every President's Cup, fucking try something different. Throw Hautong on the team, man. He was good last time.
Okay, the last one was entertaining, and it seems like their only shot at a somewhat close President's Cup are the ones where the U.S. has to do a deep travel, like Australia, potentially to South Korea. That's when you sometimes feel like there's life for this thing to be more entertaining than the roster show. But these ones, like at Quail Hollow out in Charlotte, I'll be honest, minus 300. I'm not a stonks guy, and I know there's risks here to lose it at all, but I saw it even drop minus 300, minus 350, make 35% money in 4 days. See, it feels like a free roll at times.
Yeah, it's minus at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. The USA is minus 330. The internationals are plus 300. And looking at the names that we just mentioned, that tracks. That makes an awful lot of sense. I'm just trying to.
I don't know.
Here are the guys in the running for captain's picks right now. Let's just assume Tom Kim has one, because he's probably going to go up to 9th or 10th. You have Munoz, EVR, Hadwin, Hughes, Fox, Bezadenhout, Lahiri, Leishman, Siwoo, Herbert, Pendrith, Cam Davis, Johnny Vegas, Griot, Burmeister, Hautong, Day, Svensson. You're basically playing with Corn Ferry Tour guys here all of a sudden. Oh, my guy, Thirsty Lawrence. Let's get him on the fucking team. He's not bad. But, who did they lose? They lost Answer. He can't play. Was there anyone else?
Louis
and Answer.
Louis and
they should let them play.
Yeah, they lost Louis and Answer. We're all expecting, even through the height of the rumors, that at this point Cam and Hideki stick it out, as well as Scott and Leishman, who's also pretty much rumored to be going as well. But I would say Cam and Hideki, you're going to send them, even if they've signed a live contract. It would just be bad for the event. I'm sure NBC's no, you have to send them. Immelman's no, they have to come. Leishman, I would give Leishman the pure double bird and take a PGA Tour player and give him this.
There's no unless Leishman wins 2 playoff events, there's no fucking chance he's on this team.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying, there's no benefit of the debt. Anyone who's associated with Liv that isn't Hideki or Cam and hasn't played for them yet can, you just take a younger player to give them that spotlight.
Why isn't Jason Day on the Live Tour? Do they not offer him any money because he can't play in the events?
It's a pretty fair question. You would think his profile would have been perfect. But I don't know. So
here's where we can go with. I want to go Bomber Heavy and Tom Kim. So we'll take 3 Bombers and Tom Kim. I think my picks, if I'm doing it, I want to hear this in the comment section too, or hit me up on Twitter at the PME. Who would be your 4 captains picks for the President's Cup right now? If you want, to give you might lose 90% of the points, but you're probably going to do that anyway. So you might as well try to take a stab at something. So Fox, Tom Kim, Pendrith. I'd rather have Pendrith than EVR based on his upside, or Hadwin or Munoz. Just roll with it. And I think it comes down to Cam Davis or Vegas. Vegas seems like a good fit here.
Vegas seems like a great fit.
And there's no chance that they actually do anything like that, because they'll be
they're more likely to take a Lahiri. I mean that.
No, I agree. Which I mean for international promotional purposes, that's probably not a terrible idea.
Yeah, no, I'm not even dissuading that. I just feel like they are far more likely to pick from that pool of players than the players you are suggesting. Not that it would matter, but I still think you want to send the best out there, and there is a course fit for Quail Hollow that shows itself.
Yeah, and it's not that only those guys. Griot has finished really well at Quail Hollow. Answer came second to Rory.
Griot's in form.
And Griot's in good form, but there's no chance. I just don't feel like there's no chance Vegas is going to make the team either. But if put between the two, I know that Griot has played well at Quail Hollow. I'd still want to like stack those skill sets together because then at least you like if you have Pendrith and Vegas together, right? At least you know that they have complementary skill sets. It's not like Griot playing with Ryan Fox, where it's like, what are we doing here? Like these are two opposite players. Maybe that's how they want to do it, but for like 4-ball purposes or alternate shot. I can't even remember what's at the President's Cup, tell you the truth, but having those skills together, I think would be pretty huge. And like Cam Davis, I think has to be pretty close. I mean, Cam Davis over Pendrith actually makes more sense because he's won on the PGA Tour, but.
But you honestly think, like, let's be real. I don't think they would take Pendrith over Hughes or Hadwin.
I agree.
More...
I agree with you, but I wouldn't take. I would take Hadwin over Hughes, but I wouldn't take either of them.
I guess I would agree. I guess I would agree with that. But hopefully, all these fun because the next one's with us, man. Like. I joked about how the Americans going to travel. The only chance they lose, we're the next one, Montreal. I ain't traveling for that, but let's have a fun team, hopefully.
Before we get to St. Jude, my wife called me. She was out at like my mom's cottage with the kids while I was golfing yesterday morning. She calls me on the way back in. It's like, the kids want to get fries from McDonald's. Like, do you want to go out and get fries and just have them waiting for you at home? I was like, no, not really. Like, I'll Uber them here. I don't want to leave the house. So I went on Uber Eats and I ordered 2 Happy Meals for them. And the stock default option on Uber Eats for whatever McDonald's I was using wasn't fries. It was apple slices instead of fries. And I just assumed fries would come with it. Get there. Stuff shows up. I'm like, I'm a real hero here. The kids are going to be fucking pumped. They're going to get home. They're going to have some nuggets, a hamburger, and the fries that they wanted, plus a toy that comes with the Happy Meal. This is great news. Shows up. They show up like 2 minutes after the McDonald's shows up. I open it up. No fries, only apple slices. Need to get out of this. What the fuck are they doing with apple slices? What's going on here? I feel like Tim. I feel like Tim.
You ordered it last time, I think.
No, because
I don't know.
I don't think I've ever ordered from like McDonald's since I've moved here, and I've never ordered a Happy Meal. Most definitely.
Yeah,
not
that's bullshit. Then that's bullshit. No, I give Tim a hard time. I blame him for you and say no. Man, that's bullshit, and that wouldn't go over well in my house.
I was just pissed, and then I had to go out and go to McDonald's to go get 2 sets of fries for the kids because they were promised fries and they were freaking out. It's like, all right, I'll go to McDonald's, I'll get them. Show up to McDonald's, drive-thru's closed. I gotta go in. That was the whole thing. Did you watch the end of the broadcast with Nick Faldo? Because I saw people like shitting on him. I thought it was like really touching. It'll be less. It'll be less touching if he goes to live.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that he's going to. I didn't see it in real time. I saw the clips. I get it. Like I get the hyperbole of it for them. And I get people shitting on it, but that's not something I would shit on.
Okay. I thought it was a nice moment. He really seemed genuinely touched and like sad to be leaving, but like
I don't know why. Oh, yes, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna make a dumb comment. Like, why are they doing it now, not the end? Obviously, NBC's coming in. They're done. Season's over. Thanks for the ride, Nance. Someone made the best points. Nance can always hold it together. Like, Nance will never shed a tear on air. Ever. Well, he's like good. Like, he's just wired like perfectly for his job.
Well, there's a chance he's
always hold it together.
There's a chance he's a robot. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Like you want your play-by-play guy to be stoic. Like that's a part of it. You don't want him to be emotional ever. Like he needs to sort of be like a robot. And you want the analyst to like have the insight, but you also want the analyst to have the passion. I know people shit on Faldo all the time. I actually liked Faldo a lot. I actually enjoyed the CBS broadcast much more than the NBC broadcast. I just find that I don't know what it is. Like I didn't like Johnny Miller. But I like Johnny Miller a lot more than I like Paul Azinger. I'll tell you that much. Like, I think it's Americans in general who don't like Nick Faldo just because he's British and like he's a bit of a prick and he has been a bit of a prick. But I find that's as someone who doesn't just stock root for Americans when I watch golf, I think it's fun to see who Faldo's cheer. It's usually English guys, but I think it makes a fun dynamic on the broadcast. And I always found him to be pretty insightful.
I totally agree, and be careful what you wish for, because the replacement sometimes is worse, as you mentioned, with Azinger. And I don't like a lot of the things that have happened at NBC Golf. At least with CBS, you see some trajectory into them. Like I enjoyed the Immelmans, both of them. I enjoy Colt. So I like a lot of the changes that they've made at CBS. And I feel like, who are they test running? They were running a few guys.
Well,
Leonard?
they're going with Immelman, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
I'm shocked they didn't go with Colt. I would have picked Colt.
Yeah, for now, I guess they're making Colt walk the course.
They're like, you need to drop a few LBs to be on TV, pal. Go walk the course.
I don't know, but Colt's, yeah, they all seem to have a really nice rapport. I would have no problem to see a few other of them, get out of there. Finchy and a couple. I don't know.
I just thought it'd be a unique opportunity to insert Colt into the booth because of his age. And if he's good, you can run him for 35 fucking years up there. And if he's not good, it's like, well, we tried a young guy. Now we can bring in like the 50-year-old dude again. And maybe like enough time will be passed that like Phil can do it in 2 years. Although you say it'll never happen, but if you put Phil in the booth and he was just being Phil, people would forgive Phil so fast.
Never gonna happen, but I wish.
You say it. Why would you say it's never gonna happen? It could happen. Like 5 years from now, you get 55-year-old Phil Mickelson in there, and he's like yucking it up. Like, remember when he came on? What major was it?
Great. I'm not saying he's not great at it. He comes on, he does his time. I don't know. They spoke about it in the book where he came on, and who was it? Like, Faldo wasn't ready for the zingers. Like, he was just not ready. For what Phil was bringing in there. And I remember even reading in Phil's book, I feel like it was portrayed as like an embarrassing moment for Faldo. Like, just to be totally upstaged, or just like so obviously shown how inferior or how much better this job can be done. We'll see where that goes. Quickly on that note, there's some interesting numbers on the PGA and their TV ratings for this year, and just showing again that the demise is pretty consistent with what they always are. And Liv, harps on the PGA audience that it's old and it's dying. But one thing I think you got to give the PGA credit for, and the people who partner with it, Pat, is like in all spaces of advertising that demo is scoffed at or not appreciated, the PGA like buys into the 60, 65 plus demo. That's the money. That's the people who are, who have the money, who can buy what you're selling, and they jump right into it, as much as we insult it out for how it can affect certain broadcasts.
Oh, 100%. And like, even to just let you behind the curtain a little bit, like I do all the ad sales for Mayo Media Network. So, I mean, sometimes you'll hear ads on shows, other times you won't. Sometimes it'll be title sponsors, and some of it's like geolocated. So if you're in the States, you might not get a certain ad. If you're in Canada, you do get a certain ad. Or if you're in Britain, you get a certain ad, especially on the audio podcast. It's a little bit different for the video. It's mainly on the audio side. But the quality of sponsors that I can get, especially for different markets, are huge for golf. And like the numbers for NFL do way better. Like almost 3 times as many people tune into the Me, You, and Cuss NFL show than they do the Me and You Golf show. And the Me and You Golf show does very well, but that show in particular, and most of the NFL shows, do fantastic. But I can get more money with bigger sponsors for this show than I can for that show, because the advertisers know that anyone listening to a golf show can probably buy a product. And that's not necessarily the case. Like, instead of getting like higher end watches, higher end supplements, car stuff, designer clothing, like some of the stuff you'll hear on the golf advertising, we get to football season, it's fucking beer and dick pills.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So I don't know. It's silly.
It's a smart one to lean into, but it feels like when they're trying to take advantage of our demographic, and even the younger, like I'm 37, so I'm kind of like in the beginning prime of being a real golf consumer of who they're really advertising to. But like they're trying to capture this like 25 to 45 audience who, people who watch this show, people who gamble on sports. And it feels like they do it without caring about it. They're like, oh, these companies want to give us money. That's great. It doesn't seem like they're actively trying to court any of these people. It's just these people are going to them and be like, hey, can we pay you money to get a commercial on here and like fake talking about it? It doesn't seem like they actually care about it. And I feel like they are missing out on that. And that's reflected in the programming. Like we just went through a fucking cut line that was probably the most important cut line of the year. Suspended on Friday night. You had a guy come back on the course with a birdie cut to knock fucking like 3 people out of the playoffs and get himself in. And it wasn't on, there was no way to watch it.
You're not wrong. It was truly incredible. But at the same time, that's an excellent point. And they're not the only ones in golf that are doing it. They're just taking the gambling money because it's people that are throwing it at them. They don't even like care about like harvesting the content or the read, because when they're giving the odds, from, a certain site on the board on the telecast, they're not even giving the read like any respect. It's just anyone in the ad world on any side, or if you've listened to commercials your whole life, no, they're doing it as lazy as a radio guy doing a live read who doesn't give a shit.
Well, when people are listening to the Athletic Greens ad in the audio version of this podcast, you can hear the passion come from Pat Mayo. I notice this a lot.
Show off your wealth and buy some.
Yeah. Have some Athletic Green /Mayo. Go there. I do use it every day. I actually do. That's the one good thing that like I think is different between it. Like it'd be one thing if there was someone on the broadcast who did fucking gamble and just like let him do the reads. Because he got get fired up.
Colt could do it.
Colt could do it, but they don't let him do it.
But Colt is also, I promise you, I have enough confidence that Colt at least is saying to the executive, like, I know there's a meeting. I know this could go on deaf ears, but I'm telling you how badly you guys needed to, like, harvest television for that cut. Or some sort of, even like you said, jobber, PGA, Twitter, live feed, cam, like they've done for Korn Ferry playoffs and shit. I've seen in the past. Watch Zhao Dong hit it out of bounds.
Zhao Dong.
I don't know that. What's his name? Sorry again. It's the second name I've botched on the show. I'm sorry.
I think Paul fell down behind. Oh, he's sitting down. I thought Paul fell down. He's just sitting down. I couldn't see his head anymore.
Just sitting.
You're just sitting. Okay, well, that's good news. Let's get to the St. Jude FedEx Cup, first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. No Daniel Hauserberger, no Tommy Fleetwood, no Lonto Griffin. So it's only a field of 122 players in Memphis at TPC Southwind, one of my favorite courses on the PGA Tour. Water everywhere. It's a par 70, 7,244 yards. Seems short, like it's only 100 yards more than last week, but it plays an awful lot longer, Jeff, like adjusted to par. This is one of the more difficult, like you're going to see a winner at like -12 to -16. Justin Thomas won this event 2 years ago without gaining strokes putting. Brooks lost 3 strokes putting, came second that year. Hideki lost in the playoff to Answer along with Burns a year ago. He lost strokes putting. It's a ball striker's course. You don't want to have the guy who's losing strokes putting. That's not a great way to get to the top, but it can be accomplished at TPC Southwind as long as you just don't keep rinsing your ball in one of the myriad water traps around. Over 5,000 balls have gone into the water at this course since 2004. It's a fun one. I always like this one a lot. It is a true who is keeping the ball dry off the tee and who is getting lasered in with their irons. So that's really the approach that I'm taking here. So DraftKings Sportsbook has the odds out right now. We go to the very top of the list. Rory, 9-1. Scheffler, 14. Fitz, 14. Cantlay, 14. Thomas, 14. Xander, 14. Cam Smith and Rahm, both 20. Willie Z, 22. And the hottest man on the planet, he's the Hansel of the golf world, Tony Finau's 25-1.
Incredible names. A lot of tight numbers.
Who do you like?
I feel like this has just created some opportunities behind. I want that Zalatoris number to peak.
I see it opened at the book that we can use, or at least that I can use, because DraftKings Sportsbook is not available where I am currently. But this one is 28-1 on Wilsey.
I would like that. That's a number that would have my attention. Geez, Rom is really they're putting twos in front of Rom again, but it feels deserved. Everyone's playing well, but him. Even Tom Kim, like who's won without form, Pat? Like good form.
Cam Smith.
Like, yeah, I get. Yeah, honestly, that's the one I was kind of thinking of, and he did. If you were watching, like he made all the shots. If you watch the end of the Scottish, like I've seen enough. At least I did. But yeah, that Scottish result was still probably T10 though.
It was. I believe it was T9. But it was a very
Sunday. Yeah,
it was a real scrambly performance. Put it that way.
Yeah, but it's almost what you want to think maybe he's in tune for an Open Championship.
Sure.
That being said, yeah, so I don't know, these guys got to be informed for me to want to touch them, which makes Rom, I don't know, man, twos in front of him. Crazy. I'm going farther up, and DraftKings being kind to me, I think, Pat. I think this next range, I was happy with some of the offerings.
So the one that really stuck out to me, and I went over this, I'm going to bet Zalator. So Will Z is going on my card. I kind of mentioned that last week that I just much preferred him at this course than at the Wyndham. And he played fine at the Wyndham. He actually lost strokes off the tee at the Wyndham. It was the third time in 21 starts that he's actually lost strokes to the field off the tee, which kind of tracks because that's more of an accuracy course. It's not like a bomb and gouge type track. You can get yourself into some problems if you try to bomb and gouge it at Sedgefield. You just want to have the Tom Kim. You don't need to be the longest, guys. Hit it down the middle and you're going to have a very easy time. Get off the beaten path, all of a sudden you bring some bigger numbers into play. But here, as long as he's not hitting it into the water off the tee, but he can use the length to his advantage. Obviously still, he's second to Finau right now in terms of iron play over the past 50 rounds. He's who I want to go with. And 28-1 I do think is a very, very friendly number for him at certain places. 22, I feel like all these DraftKings odds are going to fall because you can't just have 13 guys 25-1 and below. I just don't think that's going to work out very well, but you kind of hit on it. Like Cam Young is 28, Spieth is 28. I'm not going to be concerned about that. I see Hovland at 35 and I'm like, man, that's not bad especially for
Hovland 35.
This course. I think this course suits
35.
him. Well, Colin's been
Set it and
Colin has been bad. Not that it's going to dissuade me from betting him, but I will throw out that he has not been good in some time.
I said last week I was betting Victor here. So I'm betting Victor here. I was happy to see the 35, but wish he played since the Sunday at the Open where, he kept it in below neutral so long that it kind of put Rory to sleep, cashed us a ticket in doing so. But yeah, I'm in. 35 is good. And yeah, I've made two bets. I'm going to bet that Zal 28, I'm pretty sure, but it's Victor at 35 and someone at 50. But I am looking at this Calm 35. Just keep it clean, ball strike it. I don't know. I feel like 35 just seems totally fair. I could set it and forget it. Cal, Colin, Vic, Zal, set it and forget it. We're sticking in the good players. If I get beaten at the top, I'm going to get beaten at the top. It's happened a lot this year. The top, I mean.
If you had to go to the top, who do you think that you would go with? I feel like this is a good Scheffler course.
They're all so enticing.
I know.
Talk myself into any of them. What's weird is after hitting me that ticket, Cam Smith feels like the one I would least want.
Was it this course? I think we had Cam Smith, and he found himself in the middle of the forest when there's not a whole lot of clumps of trees around, and he tried to hit that hero shot from the middle. It just bounced back at his head. Was it this? I think it was this tournament last year.
Oh, you are. The shot rings familiar. The tournament doesn't.
Yeah, I think it was this course. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, because remember we had Brooks. And he ended up coming in second. And Thomas hit that. JT hit it off to the right on 18. We're like, oh, thank God he's going to give one back. And he made this low hook shot around the fucking tree. Came up a bit short and just got it up and down no problem. It's fuck you, Justin Thomas. Taking my money like usual.
Yeah, was that out of COVID? That was a weird scheduling spot for this event.
It was the week before the PGA Championship that Morikawa won.
Yeah. I think that was the first I'd Brooks that week. That was the first video I ever did for OC.
There we go. So, Zalatoris, Hovland. I'm in on both those guys. I got to tail you because I can't win anything on my own. So let's go.
No. I'm not good. I'm like just spacing out my wins far enough apart where it looks like I'm having a fine season.
I wish I had that. I wish I had that luxury that I'd be spacing them out.
Like anytime it's about to get into a bad place, I get it back, which is the fun in golf betting, which is the fun of it. But yeah, these are I don't know. Tom Kim.
I can't do Tom Kim.
I'm going to bet Victor and Zal, like, I don't know. But the Tom Kim guys got their money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be looking for Vic by a field goal. I'm going to get back into that zone too, Pat. Woo! Come on, baby.
Looking at my key stats for this field, Finau, Rory. Finau just dropped in real time from 25 to 20 at DraftKings Sportsbook, by the way. So that number's now gone. Can't fit the 25. Although, I mean, I was shocked to see him at 25. Like at the other site, he is 22. I bet you when you get like the extended win, that's up to like 24. Why wouldn't we just keep riding this?
I should have. And I saw that drop sort of like I saw the reset on my eyes. And it instantly hits you that 25, based on everything, was pretty freaking fair.
Yeah, like
maybe
why
more than fair?
Yeah, like I get that like you can like perceive the other guys as better players. That's a totally just argument. But the dude, I mean, he beat like two pretty scrubby fields. This is a real field, but he does have back-to-back wins. Like, why is Cantlay ahead of him?
I'm not entirely sure. Oh my god! And then seeing Tony speak at his foundation.
Did you see him?
Day after
did you see him drop his wife's phone into the pool?
I didn't.
That was a good video. He was like dancing by the pool and he tried to flip up his wife's phone. He dropped it into the pool. He can afford a new one. It's okay. Honestly,
the most. I don't know. I go find these interviews, and I even saw our boy Tour Picks do a I don't want to call it a golf video, but a video just on mental health in general.
Was it pro mental health or anti mental health? Because I would have opinions if it was one way. Do you remember which one it was?
It was pro mental health, and that the success isn't a straight line and it's zigzags. And to see Tony Finau say, like, he's so obviously you wish you had the missed opportunities back, but for his kids to see him quote unquote fail, and we're like, because finishing second on a PGA Tour event, like we're going to call failing for just a brief moment, to see you come up short and to fail and to just keep fighting and digging and going. His kids, some of his kids are old enough, although seems like a mini Rivers platoon, that like you can't teach it. You can't teach any better of a lesson. You can't. So yeah, I don't know. Great. 25 seems fair. It's gone. And I didn't bet the first one. And I thought the second one was less likely because he just won. And now he's going to pull a hat trick. I almost feel like I got to watch these now from the sidelines and just cry for him. Happy cry.
So
I feel like I missed it all.
I could potentially get there, but if you're going to give me like, this is actually, I can't believe this is a conversation that we're having in 2022. At the same odds currently, who do you think is more likely to win this tournament? Finau or Rahm?
I love John Rahm, but I'm kind of flattered that this is a conversation. As you mentioned, it's a weird one. Who's winning without form? Wow. I don't know, man. I don't want to answer that.
Okay. Have we is Sungjae being disrespected right now? Coming in fire at the moment. And he's behind. I mean, listen, Cam Young is also coming in fire, but I just feel like Sungjae's done it for longer, and you're getting, 8 more points on his number? Like, you have Sungjae, Hovland, Morikawa, Burns, Hideki, and Lowry all at 35-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. If we just had to rank those guys right now of who you want to bet on, I think it's Vic, Sungjae, Hideki, Morikawa, Lowry, Burns is probably the order.
Okay, I love that you're doing this because I was hoping we could go back and have a conversation because I went straight with excited about Victor and thoughts at the Morikawa number. maybe you could sniff a 40 this week and it all feels fair. But all those guys I think need to be talked about. And I agree. Like, if Tom Kim doesn't catch an absolute fire wagon and Sung Jae hits a couple 2-footers, what are his odds this week?
I'm guessing like 25.
He's in great form. He's coming in. The course suits him perfectly. It's the surfaces he's always seemed to have great success on. Yeah, Vic would be Sungjae would probably honestly be tied with Vic, other than I called Vic a week ago. So I'm beholden to holding that up at this moment. Sungjae, Vic. Why do you have Burns so low? Like, I don't really care that Scotland didn't treat him well.
I mean, Burns, when was the last time Burns was good? The RBC Canadian Open. 27th at the U.S. Open, missed the cut at the Travelers, 66th in Scotland, 42nd at the Open. Like, if we're going to play guys who have form coming in, I'm just saying he doesn't have form. Although he just went...
And Hideki...
Go ahead.
Hideki with the playoff loss here a year ago. I bet him at the Open. I'm trying to remember how he played.
I just remember him withdrawing from the 3M after making that 9 on the par 5. That's my last memory of Hideki. Thanks, Hideki.
Yeah,
Hideki that was a fun one.
I'm seeing it as high as 40, Pat.
Yeah, he was 4th at the U.S. Open. He was 68th at the Open Championship. He has the WD. He is someone who is impossible to gauge. Like when he won, when he won the Zozo, it was like one top 10 in his previous 7 starts, and he wins the Zozo. I mean, it was in Japan, and he's very acclimated to it and knows the course probably a little bit better than everyone else. But still, it's not like he had great form coming in. So maybe, like, when we're talking about the top guys, they can win without form. And I would even consider these guys top guys. But just with, like you said, the way that we've been seeing winners being hit, that's just not happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't mind, though. I don't mind that. Yeah, you're right. Like, I want to come back and say, but when you bet Hideki at 40-1, like, you can bet him to miss the cut. You could also bet him to win the golf tournament. Like, I don't do that, but I just mean, like, I can play to the ceiling on a guy like Hideki at 40-1. And then I even see the guys at 35, and I have so much respect for the consortium of players at 14. But these guys aren't 2.5 times more likely to win this golf tournament. And I'm not usually one to break it down that way either. I'm more...
No, that's more of my justification for not betting good players.
But I don't know. I can't get over the betting card I can build between like 35 and 50 and be real happy with it. And I guess we'll say 28 because I'm too much of a Wills guy. And like you kind of said, give me 28, 30 in a full field over anything. I'll go hard on those.
So, Zalatoris, Hovland, I might hit another one of these guys in this range. So let's talk about 50-1 and beyond. You said you had a 50-1 guy. I have 3 guys from down here. I can be talked into other ones, but I think 3 that I want to bet, and we can kind of work backwards from there. Because like you see, like Homa, Hatton, Neiman, Henley, Connors, Wise, Power, Bezadenhout, Riley. Like it goes like there's a clear line of demarcation in this field where it goes from guys who have a chance to win to guys who are like legitimate long shots. And like the Henley, Connors, Wise, Power like are just a weird tier. It feels like those numbers are going to drop as the week goes along because no one's really going to win. I mean, Henley, I think, could win this week. Like you talk about good form coming in, he has great form coming in. You talk about what his strengths are. They play really well at TPC Southwind. And if it's like...
What?
Go ahead.
What's the putter that, not even the broomstick, the one where you literally stand behind it like it's a shuffleboard, like flick?
Oh, the Jaco Van Ziel mallet?
Yeah. Show me he's changed the putter and I might bet Henley. As someone who never bets Henley, ever, I bet on Henley last week and I saw it. Like the guy at times hit the ball like he's Lee Trevino. No, like an all-time great, I guess, I don't know, everyone I bet essentially hit the ball better than Tom Kim.
I mean, hold on. You make it sound like Tom Kim, like, dude gained, like, over a stroke with his driver. He gained over 4 strokes with his approach. Like, he hit the ball better with his irons than Sungjae did.
No, I didn't bet Sungjae, but you look at you see, like, Jonathan Bird, and even, Lahiri was first tee to green. I think he was 100th in putting. And Connors was incredible. It's like 100th in putting. Story. Who cares? Tom Kim, incredible. For me, the first name that I like at this north of 50 that I still feel isn't too far back or a guy I could trust if he got into something, Hatton Pat. Bet him last week at the 40, came up short, 64 on Sunday. I like it. There's 55s. I bet you it gets bigger when I see some extended stuff. I don't know who's talking about him. Quietly getting his form back. I like it.
Yeah, 6th in the field in approach last week. Didn't drive it very well, but it was just he was all approach, and that's, we can try to figure out the rest this week. But 11th, he went 56th at the U.S. Open, 24th at the Genesis Scottish Open, 11th at the Open Championship, 8th last week. So if you're looking for someone who's just getting progressively better week after week, Hatton most definitely fits that. I was looking at Connors. I guess on DraftKings Sportsbook he's 40, but he's like 50 and 55 at other places. Billy Horschel? Coming off being Andercursed? That sounds like a prime time for Billy Ho. And it's playoffs. That's Billy Ho time.
It's a big enough event that it fits his profile, be it BMW or WGC or Memorial. This fucking guy. Truly like the last somewhat deep bet in a good field we've had. Like, who bet that 66 at Memorial?
No,
I don't know anybody. I mean, maybe you got in live or something, but I'm talking pre-tournament.
So you need him, he struggled with his approach playing around the green last week, but it was still hitting all the fairways. So that driving is going to help him. I need him to have a spike, either putting week or approach week or something of the two. But this is a course that he plays every year, and he's played it every year for the past 10 years. He played it when it was the St. Jude Invitational. He played it when it was the WGC St. Jude. He's qualified for the playoffs. He's playing it again. That's a tip this week, though. When you go and look at course history or tournament history, it's going to show you Northern Trust course history, because that's technically what this is. So like Dustin Johnson is going to look really good, that kind of thing. So just be careful with what you're looking at. You want to look at WGC St. Jude from the past 3 years if you want to go look at that, or the St. Jude Invitational from before that. Like he has, let's see, 5 top 10s the past 9 years, and 4 of those were at the St. Jude Invitational. He had a top 10 at the WGC in 2019. He was 17th last year, 25th the year before that. Here's the interesting, though. He's never lost off the tee at this course, which is huge because that means he's not rinsing it. And he has gained on the greens in 9 straight years at this course. If you can just get the approach play and the around the green play to be at good levels, I mean, 55-1 for a guy who's like won big events against good fields like in the past 2 years. Feels like it's not that he's being disrespected, because this is where he should be on the betting board based on his range of outcomes. But the difference between Billy Horschel and like the Connors and the Henleys and like the other guys that he's usually paired with is he actually fucking wins events. Yeah,
I know win equity gets described differently because people would have said Finau and guys like Xander have none, despite
that they did it.
No, but even despite contending all the time. But not winning means they had 0. Well, you would say no. The true definition would mean they actually have strong win equity. That's why their odds always stayed where they were, because just being in the hunt late on Sunday is how people would describe win equity. The other way you could look at win equity in the argument is totally what you just said. Billy Horschel wins. He wins big events. He can miss the cut. It's an outright bet. I get, unless you're putting placings on it. It's almost how I feel about Hideki at 40. Despite, although you're mentioning Billy is probably coming in more primed for this than Hideki, but
yeah, that's give or take really, because Billy's form hasn't been great. Like the results have been fine, but like how he's doing it is, it's classic Billy Horschel shit.
Yeah, but it's just like, no, it's a guy I trust to win. He could bottom out, but if it's there, he fits perfectly. Like if it's a week where he's playing well, his game fits perfectly.
Homo was the other one that I was kind of looking at too. That I just know he can put the lights out. He drives it so well, and like he had a bad iron week at Rocket Mortgage, and he still came 24th.
Yeah, big fan.
So there's
I don't know that I'm making the bet. I just I love the guy. He should be the commissioner.
Hey, he was very pro getting cameras. Him and Mark Hubbard, very pro getting the cameras in on the Smotherman putt. How did Smotherman not make the fucking playoffs? I feel like he had. Is it just because we like playing him in DFS that it felt like his year was a lot better than it was?
Yeah, I think so. I got tricked a lot. Clearly, my perception might not be reality there.
So over 100 to 1. I wish Paul. This
Sam
is
Davis?
I was gonna say, Paul. This is a classic Keegan style course. Can Keegan get it done?
Ew.
Is Memphis the East? The Eastern?
It's
Not
a
really.
Southeast, isn't it?
Is that like more
I'm
Midwest?
I'm gonna get made fun of for that.
I know that Keegan's game does not translate to Europe.
No, it does not translate to Europe. This is correct. Let's see what Keegan's been up to outside of Rocket Mortgage. He was
horrible.
44. He was bad in Detroit too.
Yeah, he's been bad since they went to Europe and then came back. And I mean, I haven't looked at the stats yet. Am I probably gonna play at least Keegan in one of my 3 DraftKings lineups this week? I mean, yeah, but that's because I play Keegan every week.
Flirting
But
with
it
the
hasn't been
hundreds.
in like a month.
Flirting with the hundreds. I guess this one is one that I've seen in a lot of different places as numbers have come out. Cam Davis, who you were speaking about earlier, people were so excited in some of those lower field events. Mito, maybe it's time for Mito.
Mito hasn't
Again.
played. I feel like Mito hasn't played in ages. I thought he was hurt.
Is there an injury? Am I forgetting something?
I mean, he missed 4 straight cuts, and we haven't seen him since the Open.
And Tommy Fleetwood says he's taking time off, but someone mentioned to me that he didn't play enough events.
What?
Does that make any sense?
I figured if you had enough FedEx Cup points, it didn't matter.
Yeah, that was my thinking. So pretty interesting. Like the 47th ranked player and be like, all right, guys, have a fun FedEx Cup. I'm just going to relax. And he's not going to, well, I don't want to guarantee anything. But his caddy made it seem like, no. Not that the caddy makes the decision, but Finnis is pretty vocal, or, he's pretty informed, and he says things that often come true.
Is Tommy going to live? Is that what you're saying?
No, I feel like that's an easy rumor, but that's like not happening is my point.
Okay, I thought that his mom passed. I thought that's why he wasn't playing.
Yeah, his mom did pass recently.
So he's taking some time off with the family. I get it.
It's beautiful. And as his caddy said before the announcement that he wasn't going to do this FedEx Cup run, kind of alluded that Tommy's top priority in golf is not money. Or maybe it's a priority, but it ain't the top. So
yes,
let's see. Hopefully he gets his mind right. It was a perfect time though, Pat, with all these like guys breaking their never winners. He was due.
Yeah, but the guy, why the fuck was he due? The guys who won were like good players, not guys who were good 3 years ago.
This course would have fit him nice.
I'm sure you say that every week about Tommy Fleetwood.
A lot of them do.
Do
Doesn't
they?
mean he can...
Like they fit like 2018 Tommy. 2020. It's like saying, man, Ricky Fowler really set up well at this course.
No, it's actually not even close.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Oh, come on. No. It is not. It is not. But I don't know why waste money betting like 100 to 1 this week?
I was looking at Steele, just based on the premise that if you can get by with losing, like he's losing like 3 strokes per round on the green, which is not good. But if you just want to take like high quality skill sets from deep down the odds that you want to see here, like ball striking, approach, and driving, it's Steele, Stallings,
Rose.
Why do you keep saying Rose? What has Rose done to make you think that Rose has been like good?
He seems like he's striking the ball incredibly well. He can't hit a putt.
I feel like you saw him shoot that almost 59 in Canada where like Justin Rose is unstoppable.
Nope.
He gained 1.4 strokes on approach last week at the Wyndham. That's not good.
All I know is he needed 1 putt, and it was like his final 5 holes where I thought he needed to get to -2, and he was inside 10 feet on all of them. He couldn't hit any of them.
Well, it's hard to make inside. Like, if you're rolling hot, you're making your 9-footers, but most of the time, you're probably going to miss your 9-footers. You want to be like, if you can be like 40% on those, you're a great putter. Yes, Paul.
Is Mito dead?
I think he might have been cursed to death.
Because like 130 on Mito If you told us that like a month ago, people would have been backing up the Brinks truck.
Has he played?
No, he hasn't played since the Open. Like I say, he's missed 4 cuts in a row. I'm guessing that he had some sort of injury, or he was just kind of burnt out from playing so much, or he was burnt out from Cuss picking him every week during this missed cut stretch. He tried to change his fucking name, and that didn't even work. Guillermo, no. We're going back to Mito again here. But he rates out really well too. Like he rates out about as well as Cam Young. Cam Young, I think, is going to make me look really stupid when he wins. I feel like Cameron Young is so trappy this week because he's not hitting his irons well at all, and you can't win at this course with just bombing and putting. You can't do it. There are some courses where you can do that, and he's played really well at those. But this one strikes me as not one of those ones.
I agree. I am one of those people that think that's getting a little too out of hand.
I mean, the dude's been great.
It's hard to say a bad word, but if put in a position, like, to say any criticism doesn't mean like I don't like him or don't think he's great or don't think the trajectory is fire. But I'm a late adopter on some things, and I stay in the foxhole longer than I should on a lot of things. But I'm not fully there with this.
Quick picks in one and done for the first leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Wilsey and Hovland for sure on my card. Obviously, I'll have the final betting card released Wednesday morning live on Mayo Media Network. So subscribe right now with Ben Raza, as we'll be taking your questions, going through all the DraftKings picks and such. But Wilsey and Hovland, 28-35. I'm going to get those numbers once like we get off the show, because unlike you, I can feel like the restraint to wait 20 minutes to go make my bets as we're doing the show. Steele, Horschel, and Henley, I'm going to give a look to. Horschel maybe as an outright. Steele and Henley maybe like a top 10, top 20, just because I feel like someone great is going to win this week, and they're not great, so that might be a waste of money on the outright overall. See what we're doing with Finau, and that range that we talked about, like, is the range. Like, you mentioned Hatton. I can get behind Hatton. Morikawa, I'm a slut for Morikawa. I can get there. I really need to make some choices. I talked about Im. Like, why not Im? And how well that he's been playing. Like, I need to make some concrete decisions on that, or even see who just drops down the board a little bit, because I don't think that the betting board can sustain this many people below both 20 and 30 to 1. Someone is going to fall. Now, it's probably going to be the guy that I don't want, but I think you should probably wait for value this week rather than just like pouncing at the opportunity. Like, Zalatoris' number is going away. If you can get 28, get 28, because it's going to get worse.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I have bet Zalatoris at 28. I don't think that's getting any better. And I've seen the lower ones. I was very happy to see Victor at 35. I bet it. I'll go back in if it gets bigger, because I got to put more on it anyway with how committed I am. I have bet Hatton at 55. That might get bigger too, or an enhanced, at which point I'll fully get her back and go back in again. I'm really into M. This week. I also didn't mention that I guess the reason I think my mind is on Colin a lot, other than, the ceiling and you feel like it can click and work, is I have season-long Rom v. Colin wins, heavy stake bets, and corny, cheesy, lucky, like my emoji here sticking my tongue out. I'm excited. I'm up 1-0 because of Mexico. I know. Giggle away. So I feel like I can hedge this thing with Morikawa, protect myself, also bet a golfer I really like at a good number this week.
I like it. One and done. I'm going to take. I saved him for the spot. I'm going to take Zalatoris.
Ooh. Okay. I think, has Tim picked yet?
Tim hasn't picked yet, so you can get your pick in before Tim, and you're good to go here. We haven't added up last week's yet, but you're now way out ahead after Henley.
Okay, so I'm not sure. Have I used M?
Sungjae? I feel like we've all used Sungjae, but let me check here.
This is embarrassing, but there's 2 weeks left, so I got to rattle off good players' names.
Yeah, you used Sungjae at the Arnold Palmer Invitational for $131,400.
Okay. Give me... I don't know, just give me the best player I have available.
I mean, you have to give me some names here. Like, it's a fucking entire spreadsheet that I have to go through to see if you've actually used someone or not.
Oh, that sucks. Morikawa.
Have you used Morikawa? Oh, things are looking up for you, sir. Let's see.
Seems like a guy I wouldn't use or haven't used.
You have not used Morikawa. Morikawa for Geoff Fienberg.
Okay. I like that.
That'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. Catch Jeff, myself, and Cust on Thursday talking NFL quarterbacks. Catch me and Adam Levitan on Tuesday talking NFL. Me and Raza talking golf on Wednesday. Jam-packed on the Pat Mayo Experience. So remember to rate and review the podcast. 5 stars. If you're that 1-star guy, give your fucking head a shake, pal. I mean, I can't say what I want to say because I don't want to get canceled, Jeff. But old Pat Mayo from the shows that you can't find anymore had some very harsh words for these people. Stuff that is not probably appropriate in 2020. Probably wasn't appropriate then, to be perfectly honest. Just no one cared. Now people care. Can't tell people to do that anymore, Jeff. Now I can just say, go fuck yourself, and we'll just leave it at that. How about that? But 5 stars. We need to wait out the...
Hey, now.
All right, listen, we got one star review of the past 700 reviews, so I'm not really sweating it, but hey, we could use another 100 5-star reviews. Now we cancel it out. We keep our perfect 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So I'd really suggest that you go do that. And for you, you got Odds Checker, you got BetSperts. What else you got going on?
Dropping the quarterback show with you on Thursday. But yeah, Odds Checker with Rick Gaiman, BetSperts with our boy Noonan, live tomorrow, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Check that out if you've have already watched this, but maybe you haven't even watched this yet, and that's already passed.
All right. Tune in Wednesday for Cuss Picks, by the way, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time on Mayo Media Network. That'll do it for me. Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!